If you are wanting to create your dream life in 2025, but you feel like you keep repeating the same cycles and behaviors over and over again that are keeping you stuck, I'm going to share with you guys exactly how you can break free of that cycle, become unstuck, and actually create the life of your dreams in 2025. I know we all say it, I know we all want to become the best version of ourselves, and it's so easy to say and to plan and to dream about, but actually doing it is a different story. And I think a lot of the time people like to focus on the things where we can see physical results from. So like the challenges, 75 hard, I don't know any other challenges, but things like that. Things where people can actually see results from what they're doing. That's what everyone's focusing on. And I do think as much as they are probably beneficial in some kind of way, I don't think that 75 hard is actually sustainable. And these kind of extreme challenges that we set for ourselves of going ghost and coming back a different person, they kind of miss the mark. I think the most important thing and the first thing that we should think about when we are wanting to become the best version of ourselves and create the life that we want is actually going hard on mindset work. Because at the end of the day, if you are trying to change your life, change the world, change everything, but you have not gone inwards and focused on yourself and all the limiting beliefs that you have, you're not going to get the results that you want to get because you're not ready for it. Your mindset is not prepared and primed for the life that you want. First of all, identity. You get to decide who you want to be. That is the fun thing about this life. You can literally decide to be anyone you want to be. It is literally a case of getting your mindset aligned to that person. Now, we don't want to be a completely different person. We do just want to be an elevated version of ourselves, but we can definitely take inspiration from other people. We have that freedom, we have that choice to decide how we want to show up in the world and how we want to treat other people, how we want to treat ourselves. We get to decide that, and I feel like that is so empowering, and not enough people focus on that power that we have. So in creating the identity that you want for yourself, if you're not sure exactly who you want to be, it's very important for you to kind of get a bit of a vision board going, get a bit of a journal, brain dump thing going on, and just really get clear on the things that you like in life, the things that you don't like, the people who inspire you, what about those people inspire you. Really getting so clear on what it is that you think defines you, and not just you who you are now, but the best version of yourself. Because if we were to define ourselves as we are now, we might say things like, oh, I'm not very good at dancing, I'm not very good at speaking in public, I'm not very good at getting anything done. We would tell ourselves all of these things, and it's not going to get us where we need to be. If we are pouring all of our energy into those thoughts of who we are not, it's taking away the energy that we could be pouring into who we actually want to be. So we need to cut ties, sever ties completely with our old self and who we think that we are and all the limiting beliefs that got put onto us, and we need to completely form a brand new reality and a brand new identity for ourselves that we can align ourselves to. It's not going to be an overnight process. It's not going to be a case of doing all of these journal prompts, which I'll leave below, and then the next day it's like, oh my god, right, I am that person. It's a process, and there's going to be ups and downs, ebbs and flows, but it's a starting point, and that is all you really need. If you've got that starting point, it gives you something to work on every single day. Something that helps me get really inspired when I want to kind of rebrand myself and figure out who I want to be is actually just going out and observing people. I love going to the nearby cities and just seeing how people live, observing what people wear, how they act, how they interact with each other. I also like to go on Pinterest and see all the things that inspire me. I love to watch YouTube videos, TV even, and I like to just kind of be inspired by people and how they present themselves in the world and how they speak to others and all that kind of stuff. Kind of pick out the things that I like from each person or each thing and mold it into my own personal identity that I want to create for myself. It's genuinely not being inauthentic, it's not being fake, it's not copying other people, it's just finding what sparks your interest. Whatever sparks your interest is actually a part of you. And I do think that people are actually very good mirrors of what we want to see in our own life. So really just using people as expanders of our mindset is really going to help you decide who you want to be. If you're interested in this concept of identity and how it can shape your life and it can help you become the person who you want to be, I recommend reading Atomic Habits by James Clear. But there was also a TikTok that I watched of this girl saying about the Barbie theory that she came up with, and it was essentially like whenever she was procrastinating or she was struggling to get her job done, she was a mental health nurse, she just told herself like, well, I'm mental health nurse Barbie. And with that, she just was so motivated. She just decided like, yeah, what would mental health nurse Barbie do? She would get her work done. So then she just ended up getting everything done. She said it just made something click in her brain that made her a lot more productive. And she said it applied to like different parts of her life and personality. So when she was at the gym and she was struggling to keep motivated on the Stairmaster, she would just tell herself, well, I'm Gym Barbie. What would Gym Barbie do? And that is to complete the workout and just to get it done. It's not something that I've tried personally in my own life, but I saw it and I thought it was quite a fun little take on identity work. Create and assert boundaries for yourself during this time. This is not a time of the year where you want to allow other people to mess you about. There is nothing worse than when you have got big goals and big dreams and you're a busy girl and people think they can waste your time. In order for that to not happen, we can't simply expect other people to just automatically respect us. We need to create boundaries, know what they are, and assert them, whether that's verbally or just through our actions. I think the latter is probably the most effective, because you can tell someone your boundaries, but they're just probably gonna think like, what the fuck, and probably think like you're all talk. So I think actually showing people your boundaries is a much more effective way of doing that. But the only way that you can actually show people your boundaries is knowing what they are yourself. A lot of the time we just don't know what our boundaries even are, and it makes it very easy for us to kind of slip on them. Let's say, for example, you have planned in a self-care night. You've like blocked out 3 hours of your evening so you can do self-care things. You can do a bubble bath, face masks, all that kind of stuff, things that you know are going to make you feel good about yourself. But then your friend decides to ring you and say, oh, do you want to go out? And then instead of doing your bubble bath and self-care night that you had planned, you go out with your friend. This could be avoided. This would be something that would not happen if you were very clear on the fact that that is your boundary and that is what you want to do and that's what you need to do for yourself. I feel like if you know what your boundaries are and you know what plans you have for yourself, it's a lot easier to stick to them than if you're just kind of having them freely roaming about in your head. Something that can really help with you kind of preserving your time and energy and creating boundaries is to not react straight away. Like if someone asks you if you want to do something, I feel like my beige flag is that I will just say yes to everything if I don't think about it. And that is something that we can so easily do. It's kind of like a survival mechanism. Like sometimes when people speak to me or ask me a question, my instant response is like, I need them to get away from me and stop asking me questions. So I'll just say what they want to hear so I can be left in peace. What I've learned to do is to actually kind of give myself a minute to think about it and think about whether this thing aligns with what I want to do, whether I even have time to do it before I actually commit to a plan. I don't want to be someone who lets people down. I want to be someone who knows what they're doing, has a plan, has a schedule that I stick to, and somebody who actually makes time for what they want to do. Another thing that I like to do that helps me with boundaries is actually kind of preempting my family and my loved ones that I'm actually a bit busier at a certain time, so I won't be able to do things with them. I think communication is really good in kind of keeping your connections and your relationships strong during this time where you maybe want to spend a bit more time with yourself and working on your mindset and your goals. Also scheduling in your free time and the things that you want to do for yourself like it is an actual appointment. Sometimes it's easy for us to kind of slip on our plans that we make with ourselves because we just kind of keep a mental note of something that we want to do. But when we actually put that into our calendar, it makes it a lot more official and it makes it visible to us that we're not free at a certain time. Like if anyone wanted to do something with us, we can literally look at our calendar, see that we've got our free time blocked out and say, no, I'm sorry, I'm busy. And another important thing when it comes to creating boundaries at this time of the year is to actually make a conscious effort to schedule things in with friends so you're actually doing things with them. It's so important to keep those connections strong and to not just feel like you need to ghost everyone during this time because you're working on yourself. I've done that in the past and it just doesn't work for me. I end up being really miserable and lonely. and it's not a sustainable way to live. Actually showing your friends that you care, and if you say that you can't make a plan or you can't do something with them, when you have time, actually looking at your calendar and figuring out when you can actually do something, give them a few options and get something booked in, so it shows that you're making effort and you're not just kind of expecting everyone to make effort with you for then you to say no, I don't want to do that. This was something that I learned last year because I just said no to everything last year because I was busy, but I learned that I do need that balance and I do need to kind of keep my connection strong with the people who I love. Even if that means that you have to schedule things in like really far in advance, I just find that that's really helpful, and it helps you feel like you are filling up all of your cups in life, so like your social, yourself, your work, all that kind of stuff. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. This one cuts deep with me because I am a big baby and I am very inclined to feel sorry for myself about a lot of different things. I think this is probably me overcompensating from when I was a kid. I felt like people should have felt sorry for me because I was going through all these emotions and all this shit and nobody was really acknowledging what I was going through. So I probably felt the need to overcompensate and really go the extra mile in feeling sorry for myself because no one else was doing it. And I just learned that that was something that I had carried through into adult life as a very maladaptive coping mechanism, and it just wasn't serving me anymore. I feel like I'm pretty good with this now, but I do definitely still have relapses, and I would say that recently, because I've been going through a few things, I feel like I've definitely had a bit of a relapse, and I just got into this mode of just complaining about everything. Like I was just whinging about everything all of the time, and not necessarily to other people, but I actually keep like a video diary on my phone and I'll just kind of vent whenever I need to vent. And I found that it was becoming a daily thing for me to pick up my phone and complain about what was going on in my life and pouring all of my energy into complaining about shit. And I don't know what happened the other day. Like I had an epiphany where I just thought, what is this achieving? Like what am I actually achieving in complaining all of the time? I get that we have to get things off of our chest, and I'm a big advocate of validating ourselves and getting our emotions out and emotional regulation. But when it's the same thing that you're complaining about all of the time, you start to realize that it's not actually helpful. It's not getting you anywhere. It's just putting you in a really shitty vibrational state, and your day is reflecting that vibrational state, and things happen and it makes you feel worse, and it's not the one. So I actively decided in that moment, when I became aware of how much of a little bitch I was being, I just decided to put on some affirmations, positive affirmations, go in the shower and just bellow out these affirmations, kind of channel my self-pity into a little bit of rage, like a little bit of like, I don't know, like I just kind of built up that momentum and I got some energy moving in my life, and I just started kind of not shouting but like really projecting these positive affirmations. It got the energy moving in a really positive kind of way, even if it was through this kind of rage initially. I think it did end up just making me laugh because it was so silly. I also found that when I was complaining about everything constantly, it was kind of enabling bad habits. It was enabling me to do things that I knew were not good for me. So I have really been struggling with comfort eating the past month, I would say, and really self-sabotaging myself. I would find that I was eating bad food, like I was really overeating chocolate and sugary things, sweets, all that kind of stuff. And it was kind of like, it was like I was trying to get myself back to a state that I was comfortable being in, which is to feel in this low vibe state and just to be complaining and not feeling great. And that's something that I've really been battling with since I've moved into this house. So now that life is actually quite peaceful and my outer environment is really nice and everything that I've ever wished for, my body is struggling to kind of comprehend that, and my body is still trying to like make me feel normal. So I have found myself overeating and doing things that probably make me not feel the best, but I think it's because my body wants to kind of revert back to what is comfortable for me and what I'm used to. So that is something that I am trying to counteract. But I just think that feeling sorry for yourself and getting yourself into that state really enables these kind of behaviors, and it can really turn into self-sabotage, which is not what you want. Another way that you can channel your self-pity and victim mindset into a bit more of a higher vibrational state, or maybe into a little bit of rage, is to get in your car, play some really uplifting, empowering, maybe a little bit aggressive rap music, whatever kind of music you want to listen to, just playing that, driving, and just kind of channeling your energy into like more of a, I really don't know what the word is, but like more of a heightened, empowered kind of feeling. The reason I say rage is because I think that's like the easiest transition. Like you don't want to force yourself into just being positive. I think sometimes you need to kind of honor what you're going through and what you're feeling. Sometimes a little bit of rage can kind of boost your mood a little bit because it feels like a release. It feels quite nice. Or even, one of my personal favorites is to go for a hot girl walk, put some music on in my headphones and walk like I'm the main character. But essentially what I'm trying to say is that we need to start channeling our energy into what is actually important, and we need to stop kind of wallowing in self-pity and sadness. Even though your emotions are very valid and what you're going through is very valid, there is a time and a place for you to process that, but we can't be doing it all the time. We have to snap out of it. We have to kind of learn how to validate ourselves, learn how to acknowledge our emotions, validate them, and then move on and actually get done what we need to get done. And then at the end of the day, if you're still feeling really shit deep down, allowing yourself to have a little cry, allowing yourself to vent and moan, but just making sure that you are getting what you need to get done. This is going to strengthen your mindset so much, and it's going to be an invaluable tool for you to have in your mindset for 2025. And my final mindset tip is to stop taking everything so seriously. This is another one that cut deep because I take everything so seriously. I feel like this video is essentially me calling myself out, but I'm a very serious girl. I am a sensitive girly. I feel things way too much, and because of that I like to kind of reflect on them and really be with the feelings and really kind of romanticize it in a way. And some things are just not that deep, and I think we don't realize how much that is depleting our energy, kind of giving such a serious attention to every little thing that goes wrong. It's depleting our energy so much. If you are a highly sensitive person like myself, you will know that your energy at the beginning of the day is probably not at 100% anyway. So if you are just giving your energy willy-nilly to all of these things, like complaining and wallowing and taking everything so seriously and being so deep in thought all the time, you're not going to get anything done. You are just going to stay very much stuck. Again, there's a time and a place. I'm not saying bottle everything up and just not feel anything at all, but I think generally speaking, learning how to just laugh at things, laugh at yourself, not take everything so seriously, not think that everyone is perceiving you all the time, because that's definitely something that I stress about and that I get really annoyed about when I feel that people are just like judging me for whatever reason. Just having a blasé attitude sometimes, realizing it is what it is and not feeling so attached to things, I think can really help you go far. Choosing to stop taking everything so seriously is actually choosing peace, because you're not allowing your energy to just be leaking everywhere and just be so emotionally heightened by everything. Something that really just helps me with not taking things so seriously is to just laugh at myself. Like out loud laugh at myself and just be silly. Just do silly little things and allow your inner child to just come free and do what she wants to do. You don't need to have a perfect facade all the time. You don't need to always be this perfect person who has everything together and everything is just done in a certain kind of way. Like, you don't need to be like that. You can just be tapped into your childlike self, who just wants to play, who just wants to enjoy the wonders of life. It just feels so nice to be tapped into that state of being. If you have gotten to the end of this video and you enjoyed it, but you're not already subscribed, please make sure to subscribe. That would really help me so much. It would help me get this video spread to whoever needs to see it in time for 2025. I love you so much. I hope you're all doing okay, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!